welcome to That's Sick, the podcast where we talk about everything that's disgusting and sick and interesting. This week, I'm your host. My name's Heather. I'm here with some lovely people.
Where are they?
Who are they?
Yeah, I don't see them.
Where are they? I'm not wearing my glasses. So I really, they're blurry right now. Would you mind introducing yourselves?
I'm BJ.
What?
Ew. What the fuck?
I'm Bizarro JB.
Okay. I'm Justine.
So, the sickest thing of the week. I know we're going to talk about cat poop, so
It's true.
It's true.
Okay, so we may have just been discussing this off mic. Yeah, Rowdy, poor Rowdy. Well, one, he did barf today. He does that about once a month. He's also been having some mushy poops, which, believe it or not, sounds like someone else here is also experiencing a similar problem with their cat.
I was going to say, how do you know about my poops? But you mean my cat's poops, because we talked about that. Yeah, I came home from work and my house smelled real weird, which is not that strange, but it was like a stank. And then I had to dash through the home looking for the offending scent, and it was mushy poops in the litter box.
At least, at least it was in the litter box.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so Rowdy's like fine. He's not, Heather and I was asking for Heather's opinion when I got here today. He's totally fine. He's not like, missing the litter box or like sad or crying, or he's totally normal. Just his, they don't even smell that bad.
I think he's going to be
They're just
fine.
soft. I know, but it's gross. I don't like cleaning it out of the litter box.
That's stinky.
Well, it's not, you can't really scoop it very well. So it's just like,
You got that pretty litter, too.
Yeah, bougie
Yeah.
litter.
I love that litter, though. I love pet sitting Rowdy because all you got to scoop is the poops. You don't got to scoop the peas.
yeah, just stir the pee up.
Yeah, that's so true. So we are also swimming into Pisces season, which is
Okay.
pretty sick.
That's rude, JB.
Yeah, it's Justine's birthday tomorrow.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
And
Happy
by tomorrow we mean almost a week ago. By the time you hear this,
Yeah, traveling in
So,
time. It's okay. It's okay.
if you didn't tell me happy birthday already, I hate you.
And by this time, we're deep into Pisces season.
Yeah.
So you should. What did you say, JB, just a second ago?
About Pisces season?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
you're like they're not saying what their feelings
yeah,
are.
Yeah, it's a time to not be straightforward about any kind of thoughts that you're having. Just this season of ambiguity.
So yeah,
Everybody just embrace your old soul.
yeah, sounds good to me. So I'm excited to learn what the topic is this week because I have no idea. It's probably going to be either bugs or cosmetics.
No!
It's
No?
neither of those things.
Ooh, okay.
We're revisiting a favorite topic of this podcast.
Uh-huh.
In a broad sense.
In a broad sense, yes. I guess we can say dead bodies.
Yeah, I love dead bodies.
Yes. It's
Human remains.
at a high level. Yes.
I love
Yes.
human remains.
Death is involved.
Uh-oh.
No, it's fine. Well,
You'll
on
be
my
f-
end, it's fine.
You'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who should go first? Does it matter?
I don't think it, because the way
I
we
literally don't think it matters.
the way we approached it, it's very, very different. So
Oh, okay. Well then, I'll pick Justine. Whatever.
because it's my birthday.
Yeah.
you
pretty
go
much.
first.
Okay. So
And you're wearing an Everyone Wants to Be Us Devil Wears Prada shirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So real quick before I jump into it, a coworker of mine, Nick, who's awesome, he had on not this sweatshirt, but another Devil Wears Prada themed t-shirt he had gotten where it had screen printed on it a picture of Anne Hathaway playing Andy and just saying like, I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. And, or wait, was it Emily Blunt? Anyway, it doesn't matter because I loved it. And then he told me all about like Uniqlo had just dropped this capsule of Wears Prada shit. So I got this sweatshirt that says Everybody Wants to Be Us. And I love it. Happy birthday to me. Okay. So the story I have this week, it's a favorite of mine. I first read about it years and years ago. So I'm going to say this has been covered elsewhere, but I feel a sense of ownership over it because I knew about it before I ever heard about it on another podcast or YouTube, whatever. It's really sick. So it's worth it. It's so fucking sick, guys.
Nice.
Like, you know how like last week I was not sick hardly at all. I was just mostly like, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
This is really fucked up.
Well, we have our
Thank fucking God.
we were up weeks and our down weeks.
So I present to you The story of Carl Tanzler and Elena Hoyos, aka the Corpse Bride of Key West.
Oh, I don't think I know this.
I think once I get into it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Is this like a sexy weekend at Bernie's?
No.
Bummer. Anyway.
So, a little background. Carl Tanzler was born in 1877 in Germany. In 1926, he left Europe for Havana and eventually joined his sister in Florida, with his wife and children arriving shortly after. But unfortunately for this happy little family unit, Tanzler soon left to work at a hospital in Key West. Unclear why. And at that point, it seems like his family pretty much dropped out of the picture. Really nice guy.
So nice.
So Tanzler's in Key West. He's working as a radiologist and a bacteriologist. Interestingly.
This is in the 1800s?
No, this is now in like 1920s.
Okay.
So he landed this job by claiming to have 9 degrees, which he didn't. But they let him be a doctor there anyway. And life was pretty low-key for him there and uneventful.
Dude, back then you could just forge all kinds of shit, I'm sure, right?
Which is pretty much what he did.
Yeah, it's like so easy. You don't have to there's no computers to check anything.
He also, I didn't really write about this because I didn't think it really fucking mattered, except just shows how weird he was. He claimed to be a count.
Ooh.
He was not a count.
I'm a count. No, I'm a viscount.
I'm into that.
So Tanzler's just, doing his thing until one day, Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos walked into his office and his whole life changed. So Elena was a young woman originally from Cuba, and she had been diagnosed with tuberculosis, which at the time was a terminal condition. And desperate for a cure, she found herself at Tanzler's door, and he immediately fell in love. You see, years and years ago, when he was a boy, I think, Tanzler had visions. He started to have visions of his one true love, a dark-haired, exotic, quote-unquote, woman who he had never laid eyes on in real life until this moment. So Tanzler, who was overcome with love and desire, was determined to save Elena's life. He ignored all hospital policies and common sense and ordered all sorts of imaging and tests and medicines and herbs and tonics, just like he was just throwing shit at the wall, trying to save her.
This doctor falling in love with his beautiful patient.
Yep.
Basically.
Yes, 100%.
Ugh.
Young, I should also say she's very, very young.
Well, yeah.
Like she was about 20 and he's like, what? Like at this point, he was born in 77. So like in his 50s, almost 60.
Gross.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Exactly. He even had expensive x-ray machines delivered to Elena's home for easier in-home treatments.
Christ. Radiation in the house,
Well, I mean, it was the 20s. They probably.
It's.
Hey, he had to keep track of what was going on in her lungs. He was saving her life. So at the same time, he was not making any secret of the fact that he was in love with her. He constantly bought her jewelry and clothing and just all sorts of expensive gifts. And he repeatedly asked her to marry him. And Elena would always refuse, on the grounds that she was still technically married to her ex-husband. She had an ex-husband. And also she was really, really sick and, maybe not the best time to, get married. And in October of 1931, Elena died from complications from TB. Not TBBBs, to be clear.
Yeah, my cat is not named tuberculosis. No. We call him TB because he's named the Buddy.
And to date has not killed anybody.
Yeah.
That we know of.
To date.
So Elena's dead. But Tanzler was undeterred. This was his one true love. Nothing was going to keep them apart.
Not even death?
Not even death.
Oh, good.
So.
Some Edgar Allan Poe shit.
First, Tanzler insisted to Elena's family that he be the one to pay for all of her funeral expenses. Including an expensive stone mausoleum. And for the next 2 years, he visited Elena nightly.
What?
So, he would go sit outside her mausoleum and visit her, and he claimed that she would appear to him and sing him songs.
Okay.
So at some point...
This dude's high.
Yeah. Well, so after some time, the hospital he worked at, they were kind of over his weird obsession with a dead patient.
Yeah.
And they fired his ass.
Yeah.
And kind of around that same time, Elena's family noticed he'd actually stopped visiting the mausoleum, which you'd think was oh, thank God. But also, I wonder why. What is,
You find a new corpse?
Yeah, what's he doing now?
New lady in his life?
Yeah, what could he possibly have been up to? Well, one might guess correctly that Tanzler had stolen Elena's body from the mausoleum.
I would not guess that.
Oh, well, that's where this is going.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And he took it to a makeshift lab he had built at his home.
Oh my God.
And this, I mean, keep in mind,
I love any kind of makeshift lab.
You had me at makeshift lab.
Okay, so you need to Google this because it wasn't just a makeshift lab. He built it out of an old airplane frame. You have to Google it, and he called it Elena's airship.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And
is he, a Scientologist?
And one of his plans was to send her out into space, like the edge of space, so that the radiation from outer space would penetrate her skin. And I don't have the exact quote, but he did use this word, like wake her from her somnolent state, like wake her up.
She just needs more radiation.
Yeah, that'll cure.
Yeah.
Blast her to the sun.
Yeah. So, okay. He never even attempted to send her into space. So I didn't really.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
He couldn't be like that flat earther rocket man, you know?
Right. So the other thing I want you guys to
R.I.P.
The other thing I want you guys to keep in mind is she's been dead for 2 years.
Okay.
So she's spent 2 years and
she's had some decomposition happen, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
So Tanzler would later say that Elena's spirit had asked him to free her body from the mausoleum and had finally agreed to marry him and be his eternal bride.
Oh,
so he had to rescue her. He had to take her home.
Well, yeah. If a dead body starts talking to you, you have to listen.
Yeah,
that's a law.
Yeah, especially in the Keys.
Well, the body was probably embalmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like preserve it in some way.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about like when he like picks her up, like her limb's gonna fall off.
Oh,
like,
well,
stuff starts seeping out at least.
You think we're not going to cover that?
Just you
wait.
She
said it's going to be sick.
We're going to cover it. Come on.
All right.
So back at his lab, Tanzler went to work restoring, quote unquote, Elena's body using, what did he use? Plaster of Paris, wax, wires to give her limbs support.
And this bitch watched Death Becomes Her.
Yeah, right?
And even a set of glass eyes. He stuffed her body cavity with rags and applied real hair to her rotting scalp. And once the restoration was complete, Tanzler moved Elena's body into his home, specifically into their marital bed.
Oh, no.
You see, in addition to the restoration methods I just described, an autopsy done years later revealed that Tanzler had in fact inserted a paper tube into her body to recreate a vaginal canal.
Gross!
Paper tube? Why not PVC pipe?
It's the 20s!
He didn't have a fleshlight that he could just jam up there.
He didn't have a better vagina than paper tubes in the 20s?
Vagina.
This is what you guys are worried about.
Could have put a rotting cantaloupe up there.
I just think that you could have done a little better. Apparently it's... Anyway, that's disgusting, though. That's totally disgusting.
Sorry I said rotting cantaloupe. I don't think vaginas are like rotting cantaloupes. I just think that would be...
She was a rotting dead body, though.
She was a rotting dead body.
Yeah.
It would. I'm just saying it probably would be a good sensation on one's...
What? I don't know! What the fuck is wrong with you?
Look.
Continue.
Whenever you think of a rotting cantaloupe, you're like, oh, that feels like a good vagina.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right.
Well, it was never 100% confirmed whether Tanzler actually attempted to consummate his marriage. But according to doctors present at the autopsy, there was evidence to suspect that necrophilia had taken place. So he never admitted to it, but
they found jizz in that paper tube.
Well, I don't know if it was just the paper tube or if there was like more to it. I mean, let's be honest. I don't really care to know the details.
Ugh.
The mere presence of the paper tube is horrifying enough on its own. Like, even if he had never done anything with it, the fact that he put it there is like, what the fuck? So, life in the Tanzler household, it was fairly standard. He regularly brought Elena clothing, jewelry, just like when she was alive, perfume. He would reapply her face wax. doused her in oils and disinfectants to mask that pesky, rotting corpse smell.
Right. Oh my God, that just stinks so bad.
And this went on for 7 years.
Oh my God. It probably smelled like an outhouse.
So then he got the 7-year itch.
Oh, God. No, what happened? Oh, burping.
Irpy.
So after some time, people started to wonder why Tanzler was buying so much women's clothing. Because, as far as anyone knew, he was a single old man.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, a neighbor spotted Tanzler dancing around his living room with what looked like a life-sized doll.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1940, Elena's sister confronted Tanzler at his home, at which point Tanzler invited her inside and showed her Elena's wax-covered corpse. At this point, the sister thought it was just a really creepy wax dummy like effigy that he had made, and she's like, oh God, this guy's really, really fucked up.
Yeah, like, that's weird.
Like,
but...
this guy's out of his mind. So she called the police, and when the police got there, they discovered, oh no, this is actually a dead body in
corpse.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was arrested and charged with wantonly and maliciously destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization.
Not desecration of a corpse?
This is what, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what it said.
Proof.
They had no proof.
A paper tube is not proof.
You heard it here.
Wouldn't it get all soggy?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Whenever you're all dead and embalmed and rotting, I assume there's not as many vaginal juices, but there's still like body juices. And if he's like making use of the marital tube,
The marital tube.
But
look, and I'm gonna actually point out too. Like I said before, I read about this story like years and years and years ago. This is the first time I discovered the paper tube.
The marital tube.
So
glad to have that detail included.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
what kind of satisfaction could he get? That can't feel good.
He took a corpse out of a mausoleum and was dancing with it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I guess
insane.
he's not. Yeah. Facts. Okay. Sorry.
All right, so this thing goes to trial, and this was a media sensation. So what do you think the public reaction was?
Ill.
Yeah.
It was probably ill.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, they were revolted. And yeah, a lot of morbid curiosity, but there were a lot of people, including women, who saw Tanzler's actions as being quite romantic.
Disgusting.
If
I think they're a little romantic.
If a bit eccentric. He had a surprising amount of supporters
I'd support
who
him.
didn't think he did anything wrong.
I don't know about nothing wrong, but it's a little romantic.
I mean, it was the 30s. Maybe our concept of women's autonomy is, come further. I don't know.
I've never had a man daily apply wax to my body. I'd appreciate that level of devotion.
That level of attention, dedication
Buying
to
me
my
jewels and
upkeep.
clothing. This has never happened. Maybe when I'm dead.
Oh my God, we can only dream of that. So unfortunately for Elena and her family, Tanzler was quickly released due to the statute of limitations for his crimes expiring.
Oh.
Yep. And afterwards,
Short statute of limitations.
I guess.
Well, whatever. Like, I feel like pedophilia is only like 7 years. That's like nothing.
Ugh,
That's like no time at all.
I know.
Fucking crime. Continue.
I feel like necrophilia should be less.
Yeah.
This
There's
person's
no
dead.
crime. Well, there is a crime, but like there's no
Nah.
victim. There's a dead body that got desecrated, and that is kind of shameful, but like you didn't like hurt a living being.
Yeah. So after he was released, Tanzler actually had the balls to ask for her body back.
Because he's crazy, yeah.
Why not?
His request was denied.
Yeah.
It's like worth a shot.
Yeah, got to shoot your shot. So for some reason, there was a huge demand from the public to see Elena's body for themselves. So of course they were granted their wish. Instead of the family being like, what the fuck? I guess the family was like, okay, you fucking weirdos, we'll charge you money to see it. So they charged $1 a pop to take a look at this poor woman's wax corpse. And I think I read they like...
That's shameful.
Yeah.
That's sicker than him.
That's sick.
He did what he did out of love.
Yeah.
Over 6,000 people
Yeah, okay.
viewed her body.
Fuck that. Like,
and there's pictures. There's another thing. If you Google this, you can see like the police photo. It's just of her head, like head neck area. Like you don't really see the full body. And
You
she's
don't see the
wearing
tube.
She's wearing clothing.
No tube.
But there's also photos from the viewing taken from like a different angle. It's really disturbing.
Ew.
So after that spectacle, Elena was finally laid to rest in an unmarked grave so that Tanzler couldn't fuck with her anymore.
I thought you were going to say that like the corpse got sold to P.T. Barnum.
No.
Well, I guess I see he lived a little bit early. He died before that or whatever.
Elena was buried and no one's going to bother her anymore. As for Tanzler, he left Key West and went back to live near his wife. Remember his wife who he left and his kids?
Oh yeah. Forgot about them.
No, so he went back and it didn't sound like he went back to her, just to live near her, and she supported his dumbass until he died in 1952. And his body wasn't found for 3 weeks. Fuck you. And it's rumored that he was found clutching a homemade life-sized effigy of Elena.
Oh my God,
wow.
Really? Like he made an Elena doll?
Yep, and that's the story.
Wow, that guy is like devoted forever. Like it's definitely the what's that Annabelle Lee, that Edgar Allan Poe poem that he talks about like his dead corpse wife and he's like, laying with her. It's called Annabelle. You never read that in high school or anything?
No,
I only heard
but
the Tiger Army song.
no, we only did like Telltale Heart and
Oh yeah, my Annabelle Lee. I'm probably not getting the title right, but it's a really cool poem where he talks about like his love has died and then he's like laying in the fucking grave with her and shit. It's like very metal. It's very Poe.
But was this a consensual? Like, did she love him back?
Oh yeah, they were
Okay.
lovers and then she died.
That's very different because
Yeah.
Elena did not love him back.
That is very different.
Like, I can imagine being a 20-year-old woman who's dying and your creepy 60-year-old doctor is like professing his love for you, but you're desperate because you just want to live.
That kind of changes it all for me. Like I think I maybe missed if you said that earlier that she didn't like him at all. But yeah, I'm kind of like,
No,
this doctor
she
can
didn't-
go get fucked. He's disgusting.
No, she didn't reciprocate at all.
Yeah, that's nasty. You can't have my body. That's like some like creeper having my body. That sucks.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible. Well, anyway, yes, it's a terrible story, but also very, very gross.
Yeah, very
Very
interesting. I loved it.
Mhm.
It was super interesting because like, oh my God, the devotion is like, what the hell, man? Insane devotion of one person. And she didn't even love him back. It was just
No.
like,
No,
He never had her in life.
He never even. And he had a fucking wife and kids.
yep.
What a piece of shit. All
Yeah.
right. Thanks, Justine. That was cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah. JB, I'm real excited to hear what you got to follow up.
All right, I got my notebook. It's got all of my thoughts and plans in here and this week's podcast topic.
Fire
Wait.
away, baby.
As our very long-time listeners may know,
Very long time, as earlier
this year, I was raised Catholic school and everything.
Oh, this is going to be Catholic shit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, yes.
So no one, well, probably there's people, but few people are more horrified or disgusted by the Catholic Church than I am.
Oh, yeah. Why isn't that?
And I don't want to go into all the politics of all of that because that's a whole fucking thing. And this podcast is not about politics, except for when it is.
Except for when we feel like it and white people having dreads.
Yes, white people dress. That is our political stance. Anti. But I do want to talk about one of the more interesting and disgusting and macabre aspects of the church, which are Catholic relics.
Oh. I know what they are, but I'm interested to like hear like details because I really don't know much.
Me too, because I've like heard about them and I think I know what they are, and I they can't possibly be what I think they are unless they are.
I bet they are exactly what you think they are. They're fucking gross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Body of
All right.
Christ.
No, that's
Different.
No, that's weird
That's-
voodoo imagination.
That's what you eat every week. Come
That's
on.
when all the Catholics pretend that they're cannibals, but holy cannibals for like 5 minutes.
You eat the Jesus.
Yeah, you eat your Jesus and drink your blood. You're like a little Jesus vampire, like fucking Catholics. Anyway, so I hadn't thought about relics since I was a child, and I'm not sure I really thought about it then, because honestly, as we were actually talking about Catholicism off mic a little bit before.
I know. I was like, was it in your head? Because is that why you talked about it earlier?
Catholicism is always in my head, Heather. I've been indoctrinated.
Oh,
I may be
can't
an
ever.
atheist, but I've been indoctrinated.
Oh, it's lifelong, right?
I
love it.
But yeah, so it's all just memorization and regurgitation and
Shame.
shame. Oh my God, all the shame. But I went to Jamestown earlier this year, which I believe we've discussed at some point. And despite it being a Christian, like a Protestant settlement, there was a secret Catholic there who had a relic box.
Oh.
And they had a 3D printing of it because they didn't want to disturb the, the archaeological artifact. And they showed what was inside of it, which was, I don't know, some shit. And then like
some shit.
I don't know, some Jesus shit. But it was also a bone fragment.
And
it's kind of been bouncing around in my head since then. And I was like, oh, that's fucking gross that they have bones in them.
Yeah.
So they did. So what is a relic anyway? For all of you guys who don't know. Do you guys know?
No, not really.
All right.
Kind of, but tell me anyway.
All right. For the lay person,
I'm a heathen.
As I'm a holy person.
I'm a dirty heathen that was raised as nothing.
Now, relics exist in a lot of different religions. I'm just talking about Catholic relics, but they do exist in other religions. They're part of Buddhism. They're part of Judaism, and I don't know, like all the religions.
All of them.
All of them.
Many.
Every single one.
Many, yes.
More than just one.
Yeah, not the flying spaghetti monster. I don't think there's relics in that.
Just the colander, but everybody just gets one. You're issued one when you
But
join.
all the biggies. All the biggies. Yeah. There are 3 types, and they are generally the physical remains of a holy person that are used in veneration, which is not worshiping, because Catholics do not worship things that are not God. They totally worship things that aren't God. But no, it's veneration. It's just they are respecting something that God acts through.
Oh yeah, like because the famous line that is Catholics pray to statues. That's what my mom used to. She's Protestant. She's Presbyterian.
They don't. They're praying to God. The statues are just a representation that God acts through.
I mean, isn't the idea something along the lines of like it helps them feel closer to God, or it helps you like visualize God better or something, like, because then it's more than God just being like you know what I mean? Am I explaining
There's
this
something
right?
like that, and that holy people are kind of God's representation on earth, which is why the Pope is kind of like God on earth.
I kind of the one thing, I mean, I wasn't raised Catholic really, just like half Russian Orthodox, which isn't anyway. I always kind of like the idea that you could almost like pick your player with all the different holy people. Do you know what I mean? Like some people
choose your fighter.
Like some people were like all about
I got St. Anthony, that's mine.
Yeah, like some people
I'm always losing shit.
But like some people are all about like Mary or whatever.
Yeah, Mother of Jesus. She's very popular, I've heard.
Or you pick Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be naughty, I guess.
She was just Jesus's wife.
No, she's a hooker.
Yeah,
she's probably Jesus'
she was
wife.
painted as a hooer.
All right. So that's the idea. So here's the 3 types. My presentation is mostly discussing different famous relics, which are all really gross. But I'll just give you a brief overview of what the different kind of relics are.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So the first class of relics are items that are either directly associated with the events of Christ or Christ's life or his actual remains, like the Shroud of Turin or Jesus's diapers.
What?
Yeah.
Those exist?
Supposedly.
Quote unquote exist.
Yeah.
But the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah.
I've seen that on the History Channel.
Yeah, it's not really either. I mean, it physically exists. It's a thing that exists. But I'm actually going to talk about the Shroud of Turin because it's probably the most famous relic.
Yeah.
Or first degree ones are also the physical remains of saints, like their hair, their nails, their bones, their skulls, their mummified bodies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And saints that are martyrs, their relics are prized more than the relics of, saints who didn't die for the cause.
Did not get martyred.
And I was like, I mean, you're holy and cause miracles and everything, but did you die for a good cause?
Did you fucking get hanged upside down like St. Peter?
Were you burned alive?
No.
Did your death even matter? Nah. All right. Second class relics are items that saints or the holy figure kind of used a lot or were close to their body, like their clothing and their Bibles, their rosaries, etc., that sort of thing. Their shoes if they were a walkabout.
Their dirty, stinky shoes.
Probably their slippers. But there's a holy slippers one. That's, I think, a Greek Orthodox thing. But there's the sacred slippers.
Oh.
But that would be a second degree relic.
The sacred bunny slippers.
All right. Then there's third class relics, which are objects that have been in contact with their first or the second class relics. Usually small pieces of cloth. Although there was a time when there was oil that was just collected from holy sites.
Mm-hmm.
And that they tried to count that. Well, I
These
guess
are
they
just
did.
like-
They successfully counted that as a relic.
These tertiary relics.
Those are actually the only ones you can sell.
They're legal, quote unquote legal.
Well, I
to
mean,
sell.
I think they're all legal to sell, but they're not legal by the Catholic Church. Like, you're not supposed to sell first or second class relics, but the third class ones you can sell. So, I don't know. You can go on eBay and try to get some holy oil or St. Anthony cloth.
All right.
Sounds like a good. No, I mean, this sounds like a good side hustle to like just get some fucking oil and be like, yeah, this is
How dare you?
legit.
I'm offended.
Yeah, sure you are.
As a Catholic, I'm offended. All right. Now, why have relics? Why would you want these? Why would you want a relic, Heather?
Okay. To feel special?
To feel special. Justine, why would you want a relic?
To feel close to someone that was close to God, allegedly.
Justine is obviously the more holy person. Heather,
Yeah.
your answer fucking sucked.
I want it for bragging rights.
Sucked. Protestant. Who?
Yes. Whatever. Pretty statue.
All right. Because Catholics are total creeps. I mean, okay, maybe they're not total creeps. That's judgmental, but I'm allowed to be judgmental about Catholics. But the church teaches, and I just touched on this, that the God acts through the relics, particularly in terms of healing. So the relics aren't magic. That would be crazy. That would be preposterous. They're not magic relics. God. But they are conduits for God's healing.
Conduits.
Yeah, you know,
I love
you
it.
just go near this severed hand and it will make you feel better because God's power is coming through the hand.
Wait, so there's a severed hand relic?
Oh, there's definitely, yeah.
Whose hand is it?
Yeah.
Whose hand isn't it? Is that the answer?
I don't know specifically about a hand, but there has to be a hand.
You
But,
just said there was one.
well, okay, I lied. But St. Stephen's arm is a relic, and his hand is attached to his arm.
It's like the monkey paw where you get to have wishes.
Oh, that's
But I think,
creepy.
oh my God, I did not, I read about St. Stephen, but I did not research him specifically for this podcast. But yeah, St. Stephen's right arm was saved because he was the right arm of God. And I was just rolling my eyes and
JB's doing the jerk off motion
yeah,
right now.
I was not feeling it. It was like way too literal, and I'm a literal person. But they've been doing this relic shit since the very early days of Christianity, since like right after.
Whoa! I just Googled it.
Okay, so so I wasn't making shit up. I was for real.
Is it
Good.
gross? Is it sick?
They're all really disgusting.
Dude, it's so fucked up.
They're so fucked up.
Okay, it's called the Holy Right Fist of a 1,000-year-old Saint King, and it's a fucking mummified fist with like jewels around the wrist, and
Now-
it's in an ornate glass house.
A reliquary, Justine. A reliquary.
It's sounding like one of those dildos with a fist on the end. That's
Get
what you're
fisted by St. Stephen, baby.
That's what you're describing to me.
Feel the fist of God.
JB, did you have more to say about Saint Stephen?
I did not. So if you
Okay.
found something interesting about St. Stephen,
I'm just
go
gonna
ahead.
read this really quick, and I'm just JB is the one who did all the work for this. I literally just Googled this just right now. He was canonized in the year 1083 and is in the process of sainting. This is Atlas Obscura, by the way. His corpse is exhumed from the crypt. It is said that his right arm only, but not the rest of him, looked as fresh as the day he was buried, and the supple arm was promptly lopped off to be preserved and venerated.
Lies.
So that is...
It's weird. I heard this theme repeated through all of these legends.
It's a miracle. Lies.
Okay, carry on, but I'm probably going to keep Googling images of these relics as you talk about them.
Yeah, they're super gross. Yeah, look them up. I mean, I save some to send to you to put on the Twitter, or Instagram. You don't do the Twitter. I do the Twitter.
You do the Twitter. I do the
But yeah,
Insta.
they're real gross. All right, so let's just talk about some of these relics then, huh? All right. First up, St. Catherine of Siena. This is actually my favorite one. I love this. All right. There is a reliquary, which is basically the relic house. So it's a special little bejeweled homes.
Justine's face is horrified. What are you Googling?
I'm going to describe it, and then Justine can give you she'll be the staggy to my Bobberry.
So it's a hockey reference.
I just Googled images of Catherine Siena relic.
All right.
No.
Now, the reliquary in the Basilica San Domenico in Siena, Italy, contains the mummified head of St. Catherine and also her right thumb. The story of St. Catherine is something else. It's pretty sick. Let's just talk about St. Catherine for a second. All right. She was on the holy train from an early age. She had visions of Jesus at like the age of 7, and she vowed perpetual virginity as a teenager. And her parents tried marrying her off, and she's like, fuck that, I'm gonna get married to Jesus. So
holier than thou.
She cut off all her hair and like scalded herself to try to make herself like less attractive because she'd be loving at Jesus.
Damn, that's pretty metal out as well.
Yeah. And so she uglified herself and became a nun. She had visions of marrying this baby Jesus. With her wedding ring was the remains of Jesus's foreskin.
What?
Yeah, her ring was a baby Jesus foreskin ring. Yeah, this bitch.
That's
sick. It is sick. And she said that she could always visualize her beautiful wedding ring on her finger because clearly this woman suffered from mental illness.
Oh my God.
There was a point in time when she said that she experienced stigmata when she was praying to God in front of a cross, not praying to a cross, and red beams came in and pierced her. If you guys aren't familiar with stigmata, it's the wounds in your hands, in your feet, in your side to mimic the crucifixion of Christ.
If you're not familiar with stigmata, I highly recommend watching the 1999 film starring Patricia Arquette and Gabriel Byrne.
Like Justine and I did over Halloween.
Oh yeah, we did do that. It was so great and bad at the same time.
In that weird hotel room with the big windows.
In fake Pittsburgh. Anyway, keep going.
And there was a point when she refused to eat anything except for the Jesus crackers. All she would eat was communion.
Wow.
She had just received the Holy Sacrament. That was it.
Well, she's going to have a vitamin deficiency.
Well, she died at the age of 33 from a stroke, so.
Isn't that the same age Jesus died?
It supposedly.
Too spooky.
Too spooky. So she died in Rome, but her hometown wanted her body, of course, because that's a holy ass body, right? But they couldn't take the whole thing. So they were just going to try to take her head. You know, keep it classy.
Absolutely.
So in Rome, there were guards, I guess, watching to see what parts of bodies you were transporting across state lines. I don't know exactly what the deal was. But the guards were, so they put her head in a bag. Paper bag, because great.
There are rules about transporting bodies across state lines.
There were, but this was like the 1300s.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what the laws were, but I guess taking holy bodies across the lines was bad. So they had a paper bag with her head in it. But when the guards went to examine it, it just turned into a big pile of rose petals.
Oh my God.
And then once they were back home in Siena, it magically was her head again.
Bullshit.
Right? So yeah, so her head is now in the cathedral in Siena. So I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if the head was always there or if they just took a bunch of rose petals and then they found some rando head and put up. But
there is a head there. Like
there is a head. That's what Justine was reacting to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you just Google Catherine Siena relic and look at Google Images, it's a fucking severed head in a nun's habit.
It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. I'm pro this. It was my favorite one.
I don't like it.
But I also like that she was like crazy as fuck and only wanted to eat Jesus crackers and saw Jesus's foreskin on her finger. I'm like, I'm feeling her zealousy. Is that a word?
Ew.
Zealousy.
Ew.
It is now.
It kind of looks like the way Mother Teresa looked in real life towards the end. Is that too rude? I don't care. That bitch sucks.
I was like, Mother Teresa was a fucking bitch.
Yeah, that bitch sucks, so it doesn't matter. But it does kind of look like her. Ayo.
So since I mentioned it, let's talk about the baby Jesus's foreskin. All right.
Let's talk about baby dicks.
Let's
Ew.
we're just talking about baby dicks.
I'm sorry
again.
I said that.
I'm sorry I'm the baby dick person.
I'm really
Let's
sorry.
just jump right to the end. Does it get turned into a very expensive facial cream?
God damn it. That was a joke I put at the end of my presentation. Fuck off, Justine. All right. Well, then I guess I'm going to have to not just read my notes like a robot.
It's my birthday. I'm allowed to steal all the jokes. Ha.
Yeah, it's okay. That was a callback. It kind of wrote itself. All right. There is dissent in the church about the baby Jesus' foreskin. And yes, I'm only going to call it the baby Jesus.
The baby Jesus.
Now, there's one school of thought that Jesus Christ, as God's representation on earth, could not have left the earth unwhole. But then there's also, everybody else who's like, well, Jesus of Nazareth was a Jewish man, so he was circumcised. But if you believe Jesus was circumcised, the remains of his foreskin would be the only remainder of his body on earth after he ascended into the heavens.
Oh.
Wait, he was a Jew, so yeah, he was.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he was circumcised.
I mean, I don't know if they're still here, but in theory, that would be the one thing that he left behind. Like Cinderella, but with his penis skin.
Imagine, who thought of that first?
I don't know, some sick fuck.
Right. Whoa.
So I was thinking about Jesus' penis the other day.
Whatever happened to that foreskin?
Yeah.
Well, they're like, how can we make money off of this? No, the Catholics would never think like that.
Never. Oh my God, never. They don't love money or gold or riches or anything.
Now, supposedly, this relic was discovered in Calcutta, Italy in 1557. This priest, he just happened to have this in a shoebox, basically, in the back of his closet.
I just happened to have it.
This old thing.
Look what I got. A wiener.
This
Wiener
whole thing. This weird dried hard ring. Oh, this is totally Jesus's foreskin. Sure.
Such a bullshit artist. The audacity of this man.
But the church kind of went along with it until about 1900. And then kind of all of these other foreskins started popping up.
No.
There were 12 all over Europe. Maybe a different number. But it was a number that... And then they're like, no, none of these are.
Enough of the foreskins.
And actually, none of you are allowed to talk about it anymore.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It became a point of contention to the point that if you talked about the foreskin, you were excommunicated.
Holy shit. That's serious.
Hush, hush.
That's serious business. Oh my God. That's fucked up. That's hilarious, though. It's like they went foreskin crazy for a short period of time. And then it's like, all right, no, this got out of hand. Nobody mentioned him again.
But they were still into it in Calcutta and until about the year we were born, 1983.
What?
Yeah, they were still having a foreskin party. New Year's Day was the feast day of the Holy Circumcision.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
And then it got stolen. The foreskin got stolen from Calcutta. And there are different schools of thought that the Vatican took it and now the Vatican owns it. And they won't tell anybody about this holy foreskin. Maybe it's in that weird room that's supposed to be under the Vatican with all the weird secret stuff.
Yet another thing they need. What do you mean? It's a real big room. I'll tell you what.
And then there's also that Satanists stole it and they're doing satanic rituals with the baby Jesus's foreskin.
Always blaming the Satanists.
However, it's no longer anywhere to be found because it's probably not real. Because it probably never really existed.
Never was. It was an onion ring. It was not fried yet. Just a little onion ring.
Or maybe a piece of calamari.
Yeah, a little calamari. They was in the...
A little calamar.
Was in the Italy. Yeah.
You can't say that and then tell me not to talk with my hands. God damn it. Fuck off, guys. You're setting me up for failure.
I just know how much you love Italians.
You also know how much I love talking about my hands, and then you tell me not to talk with my hands, and then you say calamar, and how am I supposed to not do the thing?
I like how right now she's looking at you while I'm the one who said calamar.
Yeah, it was Justine.
I'm sorry that I blamed you, Heather.
It's all we also just told you to stop making eye contact with us.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
I can't help that I'm so socially skilled. Said nobody ever.
JB works with the public. She has to have good people skills.
I have good communication skills.
Yeah, God.
All right. So maybe there isn't the baby Jesus' foreskin. maybe there's no real parts of the baby Jesus around anymore. But maybe that's something that touched him. Yeah?
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Brushed up against his leg.
And no, I'm not talking about third degree relics. That's some dumb bullshit, and I got no time for that.
That's trash relics.
Yeah. I'm talking about the Shroud of Turin, as we mentioned earlier for a brief moment. All right. Now, it's the world's most famous relic. Everybody's heard of it. It's linen cloth that was supposed to like hold an image of a very anguished man on it, and just a cloth. But I found this History Collections article, and they described it in this way that I could not rephrase any better. The Turin Shroud is the imprint of a man who was flogged, nailed to a cross, and left to sweat and bleed under a searing desert sun before being dumped in a cave.
Ew.
In other words, it's the imprint of a dead guy's bodily juices.
Wow.
Oh, no.
When you put it like that, you're like, oh yeah, that is really fucking gross.
Ew.
However, radiocarbon tests from 1988 prove that this shroud is from about 1260 to 1390, somewhere in that time frame.
Oh, that was way after Jesus died.
Yeah, so that's a fake. That's not real. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Catholics. I mean, I know y'all are looking at it all the time. You're going on your pilgrimages. That was a word. But it's not real.
I mean, these are the same people who see Jesus's face on a slice of toast or in a rust stain on the side of a building and flock to that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do?
What you going to do? You can't stop Catholics from traveling.
It doesn't matter that it's from, the year 1200. It's still there. It's based, still Jesus's face on a shroud.
God. I have a story about that. I have a friend whose husband sold like a piece of his baseboard in his one old apartment because it had a stain on it, like a watermark that looked like Jesus. And he sold it to this company that was basically using it for just publicity. They would like buy like weird like internet famous things and like use them for publicity, and he got like paid handily for that.
Oh, this sounds like another great side hustle.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta have a Jesus thing.
You got to sell your miracles.
Yeah, you gotta sell your miracles.
That's the miracle. All right, but these fakeries, this is not enough for me. Is this enough for you?
Oh,
no, I need more.
I need the real shit.
More relics.
Let's talk about some goddamn chopped up bodies.
Yes.
All right. Elizabeth of Thuringia, which modern day Hungary. She lived from 1207 to 1231. Died very young. She was a Hungarian princess. When her husband was on crusade, he died, and she was left under the spell of an evil confessor, which I should have looked up, but I'm assuming that's like a priest of some sort. Either way, he was described as a confessor. I think that's a priest. But he made her life miserable. He like basically starved her and made her flagellate herself and demean herself to the point that she was getting beaten by her own servants.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Fuck you, confessor. She died at the old age of 24, victim of starvation and her daily beatings.
Oh, so he abused her to death. That's awesome.
So that's a sad story. But she was like such a good, kindly hearted person. Her people loved her. She was beloved. Like everybody, they were all about this Elizabeth. And so whenever she died, within hours of her death, because this is how you show how much you love somebody, flesh-hungry Catholics just fled the mausoleum and needed a piece of her body.
Oh, God.
Because she was so great and holy. And they wanted to touch her, and they pulled out her hair and ripped off her fingernails, and somebody even ripped off her nipples.
Nipples!
Yeah, her nipples were turned into relics.
Ma'am,
I don't know where her
doesn't your
nipples were. I
husband-
tried to find them.
Oh, my God.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's so rude.
What
Like,
a terrible way to treat like you loved this woman, so you tear her apart. Fuck that.
you're tearing me apart. Yeah, it's terrible. That's
I'm sorry, St. Catherine. All right, so we've got dead bodies. We got severed heads. We got hair, nails. What else? Do we got organs? Oh,
organ meat.
yeah, we got organs. Saint Camillus. He lived from 1550 to 1614. He was a giant of his time. He was 6'6", a big boy.
Oh, geez, that is very tall, even by today.
Yes, and he was a bad boy. Like at first, he was a gambler and very short tempered, and then he became sick and he went to war, and then he became sick, and he had a religious epiphany, and he came back from war a changed man. He became very caring and devoted. He actually founded the first male nurse group.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like a male nursing, like, I don't know, like he trained him or helped
Yeah.
him. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was one of the medical forces in the army.
Oh, nice.
He became quickly known for how caring he was, particularly his devotion to taking care of the sick.
Did he get whacked in the head when he was at war, or was it just like I've seen the horrors?
I'm assuming it's I've seen the horrors. I don't know what caused his religious epiphany.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been blinded by the light. Something like that.
So he was known so much for his big heart, because the Catholics, very subtle, that when he died, they needed to salt and preserve his heart to put on display.
You must. You just must.
Because he had a big heart, so you need to see how literally big his heart was.
That's just called cardiomyopathy.
That it glowed like a red ruby is the description. And it is on display in the Church of Mary Magdalene in Rome. It also frequently goes on tour.
Oh.
If you guys want to see some saint heart on display.
Do you know what any of these saints were like the saints of?
No. No, I don't.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's not.
I know St. Anthony because he's the saint of forgetting stuff, and I always found that to be relevant to my life.
Yeah, same. Even I know that one.
Yeah, but I'm out of practice on that sort of thing.
There's too many of them.
Yeah, there's a saint for everything. There's a saint for like probably Tuesdays. So like, oh, yes, this is the saint of the Holy Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saint of wearing white Sherpa coats.
There's a saint of Taco Tuesdays.
Here's the saint of Taco Tuesdays. All right. I got one more. I'm going to there's a million of them and they're all disgusting. But I'm just going to talk about one more. It is a Saint Anthony, but not the Saint Anthony I was just talking. Not Saint Anthony of Assisi, I think that's the famous one. He's the big famous guy.
Okay.
But
He's
this
the
is
forgetful.
Yeah. This is Saint Anthony of Padua. He died of ergot poisoning, which, are you guys familiar with ergot poisoning or argot? I'm not sure if it's French or not French.
No.
It's also known as St. Anthony's fire, and it's a form of poisoning that occurs from a fungus ergot that grows on ryegrass.
Oh.
So it's kind of thought to be the same kind of poisoning that happened like in the Salem witch trials.
Oh, okay. I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yeah.
I know I've heard it before.
But whenever you are suffering from ergot poisoning, your limbs start to go gangrene from lack of circulation, and you go crazy, like you go mad.
Ooh.
So he developed this disease, and he sealed himself into a tomb.
Oh.
Because, well, I guess he was...
He just immured himself.
I guess he was going mad. And he knew he was going to die, so he sealed himself in his little tomb to die.
That was nice of him to, protect himself from others.
Like, yeah, maybe he thought he was going to go out there and kill people. I don't know.
Yeah, coulda.
So, but when his vault was opened, 32 years later, most of his body was dust, but somehow his tongue was still fresh.
Oh.
What a miracle, right?
It's a bunch of fucking hooey, but...
No. No, because Heather, you're not understanding. He was known as a great orator who spread the word of Christ.
Oh. Okay.
So his tongue was preserved by God. And so now his tongue is in a reliquary. And I saw pictures of this tongue, and it was fucking really gross, and I hated it. And it definitely just looks like a tongue going like, in a reliquary.
What's his name again?
Saint Anthony of Padua. Padua. Just in case you're not going to get to Rome to go to this basilica, it does go on tour.
It looks like a piece of beef jerky.
It's like his whole jaw.
Oh, yeah, his jaw's in there too. Yeah, sorry, I did not mention that.
Oh, I like it.
He's a good talker, so you can visualize the word of God coming out of his jaw and tongue.
That is a very creepy statue.
Yeah, right?
It's got like no face, but this jaw in there, and then oh god.
Well, and then a lot of the photos, it looks like there's two creepy little eyes because of like flashes from like outside, like reflecting on the glass. So it's just like, Jesus fuck. Okay.
There's definitely one where I thought the picture was so gross, so I had to like look a little bit more into him.
It's fucked up as shit.
But there's so many disgusting Catholic relics. There's St. Thomas, if you guys are familiar with St. Thomas, of the idiom, like a doubting Thomas.
Doubty Thomas.
Okay.
Which is, Jesus came back from the dead, and St. Thomas refused to believe that he had died and come back to life. So St. Thomas put his finger in Jesus's side to be like, oh, yep, that's sure you got speared.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, like, his finger is a relic, but it's a finger.
That makes me think of
I've definitely seen religious paintings of that and wondered what the fuck.
Well, I'm pretty sure that they they use that in the what was that one Nirvana? There's like a Nirvana music video. I want to say it's Heart-Shaped Box.
There's a lot of Catholic imagery in that one, so probably that one.
Yeah, that's what sticks in my head, and maybe I'm like conflating different songs.
I think it's in
like
the Losing My Religion video too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it?
Probably.
Okay.
Saint Sebastian is in that as well.
Maybe I'm just conflating a bunch of songs from the early 90s, but yeah, it's like someone sticking his finger in a wound. Okay, wow.
Yeah, it's in the REM Losing My Religion video, which is pretty awesome.
And there's whole bodies that are set up as relics. There's other heads. There's quite a few other heads, and then like sections of skin. Like it's
Catholics are so goth.
I love the goth part of the Catholicism. I just hate the religion part.
Yeah, like all the rituals are like so metal, so goth.
I was like, oh, this is so macabre. I love it.
Love it.
It's disgusting.
Awesome. Maybe that's why I like priests so much, because they look like goths.
They don't.
Kinda.
No.
No?
I don't think so.
They wear the black robes.
Well, I guess I'm thinking of the actual priests that I've seen in my religious days, where they were just wearing like white robes with like their little purple sashes and stuff.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm talking about like the hot ass priests that just wear black.
Yeah, those are the hot ones.
Yeah, goth priest.
Like the hot priest from Fleabag.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like traditional goth priest.
Edward Norton and Keeping the Faith.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about Edward Norton. Yeah, I had a big thing for him back in high school.
Edward Norton's a fucking toldo.
Oh, yeah, he's a diva like you wouldn't believe. He's so
hot, though.
So full of himself. He's a Leo, isn't he?
Of course he's a Leo.
He is so hot, though. I do love him.
Another one, Gabriel Byrne in Stigmata.
Oh, yeah, Gabriel Byrne. So yeah, that's pretty gross. I'm intrigued. I want to actually read about more relics now.
Yeah, I may or may not have been like Googling all sorts of relics. Well, I mean, there's like whole bodies.
Yeah. No, there's so much.
And what's the point of these? Is it just to like, I guess, attract more people to the church and to get more like, ooh, look at this interest, like.
I mean, it's essentially marketing, right?
Yeah, is that what it is?
That's a part of it. I mean, the Catholic Church's line is that these are holy people, and holy people are closer to God, and being close to holy people makes you closer to God. That's the line.
All right. Bunch of nonsense, but you go for it. You do you, boo.
They're struggling in viewership,
They are really, yeah. Oh my God.
They had some bad publicity.
They've had a lot of bad publicity. So, I guess we'll wrap this up. Let's talk about the sickest thing of the week in a good way. Does anybody have anything?
I started playing Stardew Valley and I love it.
Yeah, Justine loves her little like Minecraft game or whatever.
It's not Minecraft. Look, I'm very late to the party. I know Stardew Valley is not new, but I just downloaded it to my mobile phone. And it's delightful. I love it so much, and I just really just want to spend all of my spare time playing Stardew Valley. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
JB?
No.
Yeah, she walked in my house today and she was like, this is not a good day. You look so pissed.
I was like, I'm at like a 1.5 energy level today.
Yeah, and I was like at a 9 and I jumped in your face.
But I did get to like rant about Catholics, which is something I really like to do. So it did improve my mood, but it didn't make my week better.
Well, JB, I'm glad that you're here, because I asked them to move recording because I had a not great day when we were supposed to record. So thank you guys. And thank you, JB, for sticking it out.
That's okay. I didn't have a better day any of the other days we could have recorded, so it's
Well,
fine.
we're all having a pretty rough start to Pisces season.
Yeah, it's true.
My sickest thing of the week in a good way is it's so dorky. I got one of those Facebook badges for a Facebook group, and the group is called Sapphics for Satan.
I like it.
But I feel like a fraud because it's essentially like a bisexual lesbian site.
I was gonna say
I am straight, unfortunately, because I love everything about women except for I do not want to do the sex on them, and that does make me sad. But you know,
what can you do?
what can you do? You loving the dudes. I love the dudes. But women are great. And so like I follow some lesbian pages because, you know, they're entertaining me. I love memes and they have a lot of good satanic and like women centered memes and stuff. So I'm like, you're a top fan. I'm like, oh, I'm not even gay. I feel like such a fraud. I don't deserve this. But I still thought it was nice to be recognized.
Wait, so what is this? You can get badges now for like following stuff on Facebook?
Yeah, if you're like in a Facebook group and you like their shit all the time, it'll be like, you're recognized as one of their top fans. You like their shit all the time. You're on the internet all the time, you fucking dork.
That's why I'm always recognized by cheerful nihilism.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I was like.
Oh, man.
I love meme pages. I love memes. I have a folder in my phone that's my favorite memes that I look at when I'm sad, and it always cheers me up, or I look at when I'm on the bathroom, on the toilet, you know, because that's what you do.
Catching up on my memes.
Just catching up on my memes.
Oh, see, I've now consumed all of my memes in the form of TikTok videos, which I'm not proud of, but you know, there you go.
You're the always the hippest one of all of us.
No, at this age, no. Watching TikTok Watching TikTok at this age does not make you cool. It makes you.
No, it does. Neither of us have even downloaded TikTok.
You were just showing me a TikTok video.
It was on Google. It was in a browser.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was. There was a thing at the bottom. It was like, would you like to open this in TikTok? And I was like, no, because I don't have the app. I can't.
Look, I'm just saying, if you like memes, you'll like TikTok. It's all memes. It's entirely memes.
All right, I'm gonna have to get on it, but it is a lot of teenagers, and they're a lot of times very funny.
These teens are very funny.
These kids be having jokes.
I don't always understand what they're talking about, but they're funny.
All right, so in the spirit of Catholicism, it's kind of a coincidence that we had that lovely Catholicism themed show. We are giving up the podcast for Lent, sadly. We're taking a short hiatus because, you know, we're professionals. We're not professional podcasters. And we just need to take a little bit of a month off. And so we're actually going to be back on Easter, for real. So expect our next episode to drop on Easter. But in the meantime, we're going to be sharing stuff on Insta and also Twitter, and then talking about, various older topics that we, revisited some things and show some clips and maybe do some fun things. But yeah, we figure we'll have a little break and then we'll see you back and it'll be awesome.
Yeah. And so thanks so much for listening. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, especially because we are going on hiatus. So if you subscribe, you won't miss it when we come back on April 12th. Easter. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you normally find podcasts. And you can also follow us on Twitter at That Sick Pod, where JB will be sharing lots of sick content through our hiatus. You can follow us on Instagram at That Sick Podcast, where Heather will be sharing all kinds of sick content. I'm never
sure how many if people want to see sick photos.
You just got to hide it behind that warning slide.
Yeah, but don't you know when you're on Insta and then there's like sometimes I'll be scrolling and it's like
it shows up as a second one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Insta's you can't really do that.
You know what? At the same time, I also feel like if you follow us on Instagram, it's because you want to see sick content, and if you don't like sick content, you can unfollow us on Instagram, and that's okay too. We still love you.
It's okay. If you unfollow us, I guess I won't have to do any work, so that's cool. But I really hope you don't.
And then finally, you can email us at that's.sick.podcast@gmail.com if you have any suggestions for things you'd like to hear us cover. If you want to yell at us about anything we got wrong, just go for it. Or if you just want to tell us how awesome we are, that would be great too.
Until next time. So if you're going to mummify your one true love, make sure it's consensual, because if it isn't, that's sick!